Hi everyone, I'm here today, hopefully with a really short video, to just conclude my New Zealand trilogy and not Lord of the Rings. Hey, uh, sorry, horrible jokes recently. Um, and to together with you just quickly flip through the little traveler's notebook passport insert that in passport size with two inserts, one fully filled and one about halfway, that I brought with me to New Zealand. And then I'll also show you a small organizer that I got from a friend who has attended like a sort of a secondhand exchange at her work, which I think is an amazing concept that I might try to start at my workplace as well. We'll see if there's any interest. So yeah, stay tuned for that as well. Welcome to my video, welcome to my channel, welcome back if you've been here before, and let's get started. So this is the first insert. This is the insert that I may have showed you before. See, I actually had plans to write down all the like 5 highlights of the trip. Maybe I do it today here with you, depending on how long the flip through takes, but I definitely have struggled to decide what the highlights were. There are hikes and day trips, and yeah, you'll see, we'll get to it. So it's I tried a few times before and I just couldn't boil it down to 5. So maybe this part shouldn't have been set in advance. You can learn from my mistakes. As you can see, I didn't go through with ticking off the little pluses here when I was packing for my trip back. I just kind of knew what I had with me and I just packed it, so I didn't feel the need to, my idea was to, when I packed everything, I put a little minus on it, and my plan was to put a little plus when I was going back. And I ended up not doing that. I put a little travel tab here to journal as I was traveling. This was definitely a big part of the trip, and I really actually enjoyed it. Obviously, there are circumstances that made it more enjoyable. So yeah, I was lucky enough to be able to sleep through the longest leg of the flight, of the trip, so the longest flight that I had. And then I arrived to New Zealand, to Waikanae, on the 23rd of January, and I can't believe it's been so long. I did a lot of little collecting of plants on the floor. That these were already fallen off, but there was an interesting story related to this, because apparently the largest majority of indigenous flora in New Zealand is actually very green. So in order to indicate the direction of their travels, Maori people, indigenous people in New Zealand would usually use this type of fern and turn it around to this, as you can see, silvery side, and that would be very easy to see in all the greenery, so it could would be easy to follow the path to show that they're traveling way. And it was also sometimes used to intentionally confuse the enemy. So when I heard that story and the fact that it's the national plant of New Zealand, and that there are I don't know if tens or even hundreds of species of types of ferns in New Zealand, I collected one that was on the trail that I was hiking. This was growing everywhere. I think I just loved the color because it gave this orangey hue to a lot of the trails that I was walking. So these are some journal entries from trips, and this was a local market that I visited with my friend when we bought sourdough, so I used that for journaling. This was my visit to the beehive, which is I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Te Whare Mere. I'm sorry for butchering the accent. and that's the Parliament of New Zealand. So I took some things, little pieces of prospects. This was a coaster from the airplane, the cable car that I took when I went to the botanical garden. This was a really quick doodle that I did on the train. So it was just to represent a little branch of flowers that a lady gifted me when I was passing her garden. I was passing by and she just stopped me and told me to come and get some flowers. These are the tickets from the Weta Cave, which is where many movies props get developed, notably Lord of the Rings, but also Avatar, and I think it's at the Sinners as well, Black Panther for sure, from the oldies goldies that I used to watch as a youngling, Xena. That was one of their first projects, so I thought that was fun to learn. This is the day when we went to Rivendell, and this is the day when I went to the Kapiti Island, which was one of my favorite excursions. And this was the ticket that I got to go there. This I actually found on the trail, so because it's supposed to be untouched nature, I decided to pick it up and then I just stuck it inside. Some kid must have lost it. Yeah, those are my traveler's notebook, foil, rub-on stickers. I kept a lot of prospects. This is the ticket to the Weta workshop that I talked about. And this is my airplane ticket. Parata track, which was a really nice bush close by to where I was standing, and then the hike on the Belmont Regional Park, which was, see, I took another one of these little flowers because everything was so super green, and then this intense orange color from this flower. You can see how much of the color it actually retained even after more than a month. So I bought some stickers with, I think this is a pukeko. I wrote down that it is, but actually it could be one other similar bird, but I'm pretty sure this one is a pukeko, and there was a lake of them nearby to where I am. I went to get a souvenir for a friend, so I also got myself some stamps from their Lego stores. Apparently you can get like a little stamp from that is specific to each of those to each individual store. If it's in Wellington, it will have Wellington specific. If specific stamps, if it's Paris, it will be Paris specific. Ticket to Metlink, and this was a visit to a bookstore. I bought some books, and that's the second insert here. Here I think I did more reflective journaling, but also, yeah, this was when we went to the movies together. Some, I believe, hydrangea from the garden. I hope you can just pretend you never saw this. This was an attempt to draw a logo, but I was outside and it just didn't work well. Yeah, so that was a lot of journaling, and then to travel back again. I journaled through the travel back, and I realized it helped me deal with the anxiety. And these were actually flowers from little treats at the airport. And then after I returned to Luxembourg, I did a little bit more of kind of reflective journaling and what I remember from the trip. This was a so whenever I would go to the city, I would take a train with a beautiful ride next to the ocean. And if you bought a ticket inside a train and not through the app, you could get a little train ticket. But because children under 5 can travel for free, they had this little free ticket that they would give to them, so they they get one as well. And then I managed to convince the person selling them to give me one. And this is from the Te Papa Museum. That's the National Museum of New Zealand. And these are some left free pages, blank pages that I didn't journal in, and some friends putting in some messages for me for when I leave. So my idea was to fill these in with like reflections on when I remember them, and I did that a little bit, like I said, but I feel like because of the amount of stuff that's been happening since, I just dropped it. I'm not sure if I'll ever come back to that. And then I did use up a lot of the stickers that I prepared, especially the ones from Traveler's Company. Those are, as you can see, completely used up except for this one. So that's it. And since we are already over 10 minutes mark, which I think is a lot, I'm just gonna show you my new organizer. And there are still some souvenirs that are waiting to be brought to their new owners, so don't mind this part of the table. And then here is the new little organizer that I got. I put my fountain pens here, and most importantly, this is what makes me very happy, I managed to finally somehow make my ink samples and inks a little bit more organized than they were, because they were just flying loose on the table, and I'm very happy about this. We won't open this one because it's a little bit messy inside. So yeah, that's my new table organizer for stationery, and I'm very happy about it. Anyway, I hope you're having a good weekend, and I hope yeah, I hope I'll see you around soon. Bye.